is like through the actual IG page. There's nothing really popping in this area. But if I drive down to the city and sit my ass in the middle of South Central, my fucking battery will probably die.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Yeah, I mean, Citizen app is dope though. So make sure you
it'll
guys
make you
for your
feel
safety.
unsafe.
Yeah, but at least you're aware at that point, right? So at least it helps in that sense. So we got two topics coming up, both from Baylor the Great. First, Baylor wanted to talk about this Nipsey Hussle mural, and I'm going to turn it off to you, Baylor.
Well, I'm glad that Mary brought up the citizen app because I'm pretty sure that shit would have went off too if I was in the city because just like the actual killer to Nipsey, they're looking for another youngster by the name of Capone, which is he's from a rival gang that's right next to each other. So the Six O's and the Inglewood families are literally right next to each other. Different cities. I know it's hard. It's kind of hard to explain. It's different cities, but the cities are right next to each other. Um, and the famous mural that's in the alley around the corner is a Fat Burger, and there's another mural of his face on the Fat Burger. So it's kind of like the second biggest mural we have of him, or the most popular. You know what I mean? And he vandalized it, went on IG Live. You know what I'm saying? Clowning around and stuff like that, and left before anybody could show up. You know how it is. So you had some, you had some guys come out and speak on it. And this is one of those, young cat, young generation, no respect. And they actually looking for this cat. And I've heard some bad news thus far about family members and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, man, it's getting out of control. The things that Nipsey was trying to build and was trying to create involved that gang. You know what I mean? That's why if you go down that rabbit hole of interviews by people that was talking about the mural and stuff like that, they will let you know, like, yo, you got homies from your hood that respect Nipsey. So they should be disciplining you right now. You know what I mean? So it's when we talk about the summers on how bad it can get, you're starting off a gang war right there with one of the biggest gangs in not just in LA but in the country. You know what I mean? And they're nowhere near as big as the Six O's, but like I said, they're right down the street. And I don't I'm not here to glorify gang banging or anything like that, but there's a set of rules that you follow, and he didn't follow those rules at all. If I'm not sure what can happen at this point. Him going live, apologizing, or helping, do the mural over or something like that. But at this point, like he's not backing down. He said what he said. He got some youngsters that's running with him. Nobody knows where he's at. You know what I'm saying? But they're still looking for him.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's
And
just
that's what,
crazy.
yeah, that's what we're dealing with in South Los Angeles right now. And again, the day that he actually passed away, and then the funeral day was big for LA. Emotional both ways, and to see what was going to be built, and now it's all falling down from the day he passed away.
That's crazy, man. It's crazy how like one person could really keep something together and like nobody can really pick it up and run with it in his memory. That it's kind of just fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the store, the flag store. I mean, there's other marathon stores that still open, but the main one has been shut down since he passed away. So yeah, I mean, when we talk about true leaders, at least the ones that's in your city, they're not, they're not the leaders for no reason. Because after he went down, nobody stepped up. And I know it's a position where you just don't. It's not like the president. You just don't put another one in after 4 years or 8 years.
Hmm.
So
Do,
yeah, man, that's unfortunate.
So that's one of those positions where when you get it, you don't run for it. You're just anointed. It's one of those, oh, this makes sense. This person is going to take the mantle, you know?
Right.
We're in, from that transition, we're in a scary, scary time right now. And I remember we used to talk about, you need to get a gun. Basically, you need to get a gun because shit's about to pop off. And I don't know what type of clout or what type of recognition you're looking for when you do something like that. That's extreme. That's that's a death sentence right there. I don't know who you're trying to impress or whatever, but you already know what's going to happen. And all I'm worried about is the chaos that's going to follow it. There's like you said, the gang wars, whatever. However, it could be pieced up or squashed or not even brushed aside, but addressed. It's just going to get crazy. It's going to get worse. I mean, there's already a shootout. Now oh my God. From this man, like Nipsey was everything. He was the generation that you respected him. You know what I mean? Like you respect what he was about, not just from his hip hop, from his appeal, just as a person, as a human being, you respected that. You admired that from afar. You know what I mean? In up close, like people appreciated what he was. I know how many people shed tears when he was gone, but to do shit like this, I mean, this is like going to a Christian church and shitting on a poster of white Jesus. You know what I mean? Like we've gone too far. So I honestly, I don't know, something's there because no one would be that stupid to sign their death wish like that. You know what I mean? For nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is scary, man. This is scary. What happens next? I don't know.
Well, I mean, that goes back to this generation just not having respect for shit. Like they just don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what else you got for us, Baylor?
So I'm glad that Marquise is with us because often I see the shoes in the background, right?
What are you little names?
And yeah, those old things. You probably could be sitting on $2 million right now, my boy.
I probably am.
But I've never looked at myself as a true shoe head. I will always call myself a shoe admirer because there's certain shoes that I might like that a lot of other people that wouldn't like, and there's a lot of popular shoes that come out that I don't necessarily care for. In the shoe game, from what I've seen since growing up, before the resell, and there was always resellers, but they weren't like the spotlight wasn't on them as much as it is now. And then you have the hype beast, right? Which, is killing the shoe game and in the bad way that is. Because I remember back in the day, prices to get a pair of Jordans, whichever number it was, you wouldn't spend no more than about $200. You know what I mean? 250 at the most. And they were available. You know what I mean? And so nowadays they coming out with all kind of colorways, different type of styles, different type of things to them, and then they're overpriced. Well, not even overpriced because the retail price is still somewhere between 170 and 200. But now I'm gonna go through a list of shoes, maybe some that I would purchase, but there's a list of shoes that I have with outrageous prices, right? So we got the Jordan 4s off whites. I stayed up for 2 days straight trying to get those goddamn off whites. Okay, they're women's shoes, so I would have to get them in a women's 13. The retail price at that time was $200. They are now on StockX for $2,092.90 for my size. Then we have the Jordan 1s Retro Highs, retail price 170, StockX resale 422.86. Now it's about to get outrageous. I am a fan of the Fear of Gods. I love the Fear of Gods. The oatmeals is 837.95. The Frosties 1,600. The Orange Post is 858. The retail price for those shoes were 350. The Nike Air Mags, aka the Marty McFlys, is between 15,000 and 42,000. Okay. And then this one just takes the cake right here. Because I think the Marty McFly's is just the dopest shoe of all time, next to the Jordan 4s. The Nike Dunk Lows Paris, they are between 162,000 and 300,000. The highest bid today is 68,000. That's until I found a couple of replica sites. And you know what? I've been knowing about replicas. There's a few artists that I like that have been caught with replicas. And I look at shoes and jewelry in the hip hop game as the same thing. I wouldn't advise these artists to go out in public with all that jewelry on, if especially if it's real, because we're what they say they probably have 100 to 200,000 on their neck. That's what they say. Um, the same as these shoes. So you're walking around with nothing lower than, if you're an artist, nothing lower than $800 for a pair of shoes. But if you have the Marty McFly's, which I haven't seen an artist with those yet, you're possibly walking around with a shoe that costs $42,000. Which means if someone was to take those shoes, you could basically resell those for about anywhere, I would say about 20,000. You know what I mean? They're worn, they're used, but they're very rare. I came across a couple of replica sites and went as far as seeing what was the difference between certain replica shoes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm old enough to not care. It's a personal preference. But Marquise, I'm at the point where if I really want those off-white fours, I'm not about to pay $2,000 for them. I'm not. And especially when we seen earlier this year, one of the Nike exec kids got caught slipping, right? Not only that, but he's actually getting the first batch. Then the second batch is going to people who actually have bots. So I can't get anything for retail price. You know what I mean? And I'm not opposed to paying for like maybe 350, maybe 400, depending on what the shoe is and what the shoe means to me. But bro, I can't do it. I can't do it, Marquise. I can't, save up my life savings to get a pair of shoes that I'm not going to rock that much, even though I feel like I deserve to have a pair of shoes if I want them. You know what I mean? So I'm really thinking about, when it comes to certain shoes, I really think about going the replica route.
I give you, well, two things. You get those replicas, be careful. You understand? Like you just said, you got some sneakers on that'll be worth, even if they're worn. And if someone thinks they're real, catch you slipping.
Right.
That's one. Two, it all depends on, because it's all a flex. Let's be real. Most people buy those sneakers just to say they have them. The fact that you have the the Drakes or whatever, is just a flex. And to say you have them, just like when Yeezys, they were hard to get. Supreme did the same thing. When they're hard to get, obviously they're worth a lot more. I think the thing that pisses me off the most is how it was taken away from us. You know what I mean? Like, I see more people wearing Yeezys that aren't black than anything, and more Jordans than black people. You get what I'm saying? Exclusive ones. We don't have, like you said, between the bots or the connects that they have, they can spend the money. That was part of our culture. That was a part of basketball life. We don't even have access to them anymore. As far, like I said, if they're that dope, replicas, I mean, they're still probably made from the same factory. They just have a little, little issue here and there or whatever. But again, just be careful when you wear them. And if you are a celebrity, like you said, if it's over a certain amount of money, they're not going to wear the real things. They're going to keep them in the box, just like they do a Picasso. You're not going to put the Picasso in your house. You're going to have it in the safe, but you're going to have the replica in your house. Right. The majority of them do that. That's if you have any jewelry that's worth over $200,000, you're gonna have a replica of it that's worth about 15 to 20. You don't care about losing it, but you're gonna have the real thing in your safe. So
do you remember when those when the Nike Dunk High Wu-Tangs came out?
Absolutely.
Mary, 11K. and I'm not. And look. It only thing that's different. It has the Wu Tang. It has a Wu Tang logo on there, which means a lot. That logo is that's a part of human
That's a
history right there.
that's a religion. Wu was a
Yeah,
religion. Ask Mary
right.
how much she paid to get those St. John's.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yo, don't even play with me because I really went back and forth on if I was going to share this story. Because let's be real, Baylor. Replica is a nice word.
For knockoff.
Yes.
When you
Yes.
find out that you have a replica and you thought you had something authentic, there are some other
Somebody got
choice
to
words that
die.
you would use for that.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
true.
so, yeah, I kind of found so my daughter, we recently announced she's going to St. John's in the fall. And basically, we're trying to make her announcement dope. And you can't announce you're going to St. John's University and not have the St. John's dunks. So I knew a dude, like I was looking all around for them and it was like around 500, right? And I'm like, okay, that's a lot of money to really pay for something that you really want for a picture. I mean, obviously she'll wear them in the future, but like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a gotta have it kind of thing. So then I hit up this dude who I know that gets sneakers, and he was like, cool, they come from like a spot, a Nike factory in the Middle East, so I can't even give you a estimated time of arrival, but it usually takes like 3 weeks, boom, 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 for like 250, or was it 280? I think it was 280. I hit him off with the 280. Couple weeks pass, and everyone's making their announcements. Like National Announcement Day is a thing, by the way. Wait till your son gets there. Um, Came and like she was like, I gotta make this announcement soon. So then I was like, all right, screw it. I'm about to pay like for the full price, and then I'll just sell the ones that I get from dude who got him. So
Mm-hmm.
long story short, the ones that I paid full price for were legit. Like they were from like StockX or something, came like 2 days later, but whatever, boom. So when dude finally gives me his sneakers, basically some of Bree's other friends, all high schoolers, look at the sneakers and like literally hold them up to the ones I paid legitimately for. And you saw like differences in the stitching and basically they
Mm-hmm.
were replicas.
Right.
And yeah, I was definitely not thrilled to find out that, because now what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I'm not trying to jerk anybody else and be like, St. John's dunks.
No, and that is a that's a no. What I do know, you cannot sell replicas. Which, by the way, StockX have been caught before selling replicas.
That is true. That
uh-uh.
is true.
So maybe StockX's ones are really the replicas.
They're gonna make sure they stand by their reputation. They're,
No,
they're the real
they
ones.
yeah they had to get it together because that lawsuit was
Yeah.
coming.
All right, guess I got then.
No, but
Anyway, I am not a sneakerhead at all, so whatever. Like, I could give two craps. If I'm gonna spend that kind of money, I'm getting some red bottoms or something. I'm not walking.
I'm not mad at you because as I look at my wife's purse that we spent $1,700 on, I get it.
Right.
I get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because not only like this week, there were some ladies inside of a clubhouse room that said that they supporting a black business, a black purse business. Um, when they got their purse, it wasn't what they expected. You know what I mean?